Stand by to initiate release sequencer. On my mark. 5.
We're on express elevator to hell. Going down.
2. 1. Mark.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mark, a.k.a. Derringer. Today is Sunday, July 5th, and you are listening to episode 268 of the Instant Action Podcast, your weekly source for Planetside news and information. As always, I'm brought to you by great listeners like you via the Support the Show tab on instantactionpodcast.com. So first up, I hope everybody in the United States had an excellent 4th of July holiday yesterday. It was a very quiet one for me. Obviously, with everybody locked down due to coronavirus, it means no parades, no fireworks, displays, or anything like that. And, you know, my town is pretty big on a huge parade and a huge fireworks display every year that we usually try to go to. And it's very somber this year that they didn't do any such thing. And that, of course, didn't stop people in the neighborhood from lighting off fireworks. So certainly there were tons of fireworks going off yesterday, regardless of whether there was an actual huge fireworks display or not. I mean, I think my cats are still freaked out about it this morning after everything. Other than that, I guess I should also wish all my listeners up in Canada a Canada Day, because that was back on July 1st, even though I think that gets overshadowed down here in the U.S. compared to Canada. So I guess those are the two big holidays that are going on right now. Other than that, I'm not going to lie, I have not been playing much Planetside 2. B-Way right now is in a little bit of a summer break, quote-unquote summer break, where we've taken at least a week off. It might be a little longer than that, a couple weeks off from the game itself. So not a lot of us are in-game doing ops and stuff like that. In addition to that, the times that I do log in and play, the repair bug that's going on in-game right now is really ruining my enjoyment of the game, especially as a main engineer. I'm being accused constantly of using the repair bug, even though I'm not, or not intentionally using the repair bug. So that's kind of put a big damper on my play right now, even though there's a huge double XP going on and stuff like that in game right now. So a little down on the game right now, but that's okay. Everything will come back. So enough about me. What's in store for this week's show? Well, first, I want to quickly go over that summer event that's ending today, actually, but I'm going to talk about it more so for my Patreon listeners so they can still get in on the double XP and the deals when they listen to this week's show. After that, I want to talk about the July 1st hotfix. It wasn't a particularly large hotfix, but it did bring a workaround to some of the voice comm issues as one thing. And then after that, I want to highlight a pair of YouTube videos that do some good explaining of things that new players and veterans alike should know, and those are currencies and router bases. So strap in as we hot drop into another episode of the Instant Action Podcast. So first up this week, like I said, right now the Planetside 2 summer event is ongoing, and now don't confuse this with like last year's huge summer event that went on for a month with the squirt guns and stuff like that, because those are not in the game right now. And I'm not going to lie, I'm a little disappointed that stuff's not in the game right now. I mean, everybody is still at home with coronavirus. It would be the perfect time to bring back squirt guns, water balloons, that directive line again, and give people a reason to log in and play more than they currently are. But we're missing out on that. So I'm hoping that that's just an oversight, and maybe we'll see that in the next week or so, come to Planetside 2. But I think it's a real missed opportunity to get people into the game and purchase stuff within the game itself. But like I said, there is a small summer event that's ending today. Right now, Double XP is live. If you're listening to the show on Monday, there will no longer be Double XP because it's running on both PC and PS4 through Sunday, July 5th. In addition to the Double XP, there is 40% off of all vehicle weapons, so you can customize your ride of choice with an array of any weapons. Again, that deal is also running through Sunday, July 5th. So again, for my Patreon listeners, if you are interested in getting a vehicle weapon at 40% off, now is the time to do it. And then finally, the special holiday items are available also through July 5th, and that's the Patriot flare gun, the Triumph flare gun, the Patriot camo, and the Nomad Eye light assault armor. That's the NC light assault with the Independence Day theme, red, white, and blue. Probably one of my favorite armors in the game itself. Too bad it's NC only, but it's definitely a really cool armor. If you missed out on that in the past, this is the time to pick up that. Again, it's expiring today, unfortunately, so all my normal listeners are going to miss out on that if they haven't logged in already and done it. Now, I did hear that there's some issues with purchasing the flare guns on PS4. I don't know what to say about that, except maybe next year. So there's the little summer event that's going on right now. It's, like I said, it's not a ton of stuff. I wish it was the squirt guns, water balloons, the soldier soaker and the water balloon grenades, and everything that was with last year's big directive line for the summer event. I'm hoping that that's going to be coming in the next couple of weeks or this week or something. I think it's real oversight for Rogue Planet Games to not have that in the game right now. All right, with that, let's move on to the hotfix that dropped last week. So like I expected or predicted on last week's show, we did get another hotfix last week. This dropped on July 1st. The biggest thing in this hotfix, I believe, is probably regarding voice communications. So they added a new panel to these settings and then voice menu. So obviously, if you hit escape and then go into the settings and then go into the voice menu, there is a panel that shows the current state of connectivity to the server and each voice chat room. So it shows up on the right side of your screen, and it shows Vivox, and if you're connected to that, and then it says logged in, and whether you're logged in or not. And then it has the 4 different voice channels: proximity squad, squad leader, and fire team. And it will tell you if you are connected to all 4 of those or not. If you're experiencing any communications issues, there is a reset button on the bottom that you can click, and it will attempt to reconnect you to all of the available voice chat rooms. So again, it's not a complete fix to what's going on with voice communications, but it is at least a Band-Aid fix or a workaround in the meantime while they go and work on that. So if you're playing the game and at some point, you're pressing the proximity key, that's 4 on your numpad, and you notice that your name isn't lighting up on the bottom, it means that you most likely have a voice connectivity issue. So again, hit escape, get into the settings, get into voice, and click that reset button, and that should hopefully reconnect you to the chat room, to that voice chat room, and make it so it's working for you again. Again, it's just a Band-Aid fix, but it's a better fix than having no fix whatsoever. So I'm happy to see something like that in. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a temporary thing, and that in the future that's going to disappear once they fix whatever the issues are with voice communications. Next, they also made some additional changes to the Colossus. So first, while it's in Skylance mode, that's its deployed mode, you will now only see the HUD indicators of Bastion weak points within 1,000 meters. They also changed it to the Skylance damage, which used to be 1,500 from all distances, to 1,500 at 500 meters, out to 1,000 at 1,000 meters. So you'll notice the further away the less damage Skylance mode is going to do from firing. And the dev note on that says the fall off adjustments take the Skylance's typical 6-shot kill at all ranges against a Bastion weak point to a 6 to 8-shot kill depending on your distance from the target. The HUD indicators now disappear when the Bastion is at ranges at which it can't retaliate. These two changes should help prevent Bastions from being dominated from extreme distances by a target they cannot see. So I think we all saw the video last week of the 5 Colossi out on the field absolutely annihilating a pair of Bastions in a matter of seconds. And I think that, and you even saw one of the Bastions trying to escape and getting, further and further away and still being absolutely decimated by all of those Colossi. And I wonder if this is a retaliation in response to something like that, because clearly the Bastion not being able to see the target that it's being killed by is something that they don't want to happen within the game itself. Next, there were some also bug fixes in this. So they did state that vehicle turrets and third-person vehicle cameras should no longer get stuck or have broken sensitivities. I know that was a big one that people had been complaining about for weeks and weeks and weeks, that the third-person cameras were broken in vehicle turrets. So good to note that that has been fixed. They also fixed a bug that allowed the cordium bomb to be infinitely spammable. I don't see a lot of cordium bombs out on the field, so I didn't even notice that this was an issue, but glad that they fixed it. They also optimized areas in the vehicle and infantry HUD UI that they identified to cause performance issues, so always happy when they push out anything that fixes performance issues. The NSO Ants exterior and other cosmetic options are now categorized correctly, not huge. And then, of course, the known issue is that they are aware of the infinite repair bug currently taking place on live and are taking steps to resolve it in a later update. Now, if you're not familiar with what the repair grenade bug is, so basically if you are running an engineer and you have the Punisher out and you're using the special engineer repair grenades on the Punisher, and you shoot the grenade and you splash it but don't directly hit anything, and then immediately take out your repair tool, you will infinitely repair anything within 100 meters of the target. So if you switch to a max, it should apply and everything like that. So people are abusing this to not, with no recourses right now on live. They're basically constantly getting repaired nonstop. And it's happening in maxes, it's happening in vehicles. And for most people, I don't even think that they know that this is happening, because as an engineer player, I can definitely tell you that this has happened to me accidentally without even knowing about it, because I use the underbarrel attachment, I fire it off, and then there are instances when I've immediately switched to my rep tool and gone to start repairing something and didn't even realize that I had replicated this particular bug in game itself. Again, like I said at the beginning of the show, this bug is really putting a damper on my willingness to log in and play the game right now. I'm really hoping that this will be fixed sooner rather than later. And by that, I mean it really needs to be fixed this week, because it's becoming more and more prevalent within the game itself, especially now that people know how to replicate it. And just because I said how to replicate it on the show, trust me, this stuff is going round and round and round. Everybody knows how to do this now who is looking to figure out how to do it within the game itself. So anything that the developers can do to fix this and make sure that this stops happening within the game itself will bring people back in who are becoming, unhappy by it. I mean, there's countless threads on Reddit about it right now where people are pissed off that people are exploiting the bug, and then other people pointing out that people are replicating the bug without even knowing they're doing it and not even knowing that it's going on. And it's very detrimental for the game right now, especially with maxes. I mean, you can easily see who is and who is not abusing this based on their maxes. So, I mean, that's the biggest thing that's put a damper on my gameplay is enemies doing this and specifically pulling a max. Obviously, a max is pretty powerful within the game right now, and imagine one that can be infinitely repaired nonstop, and that's just a recipe for disaster within the game itself. So, again, I really hope that this gets fixed sooner rather than later. But that is the total culmination of that July 1st hotfix. Again, it was just a quick hotfix, not a heck of a lot of stuff in it. So with that, let's move on to the first of two YouTube videos that I want to talk about this week. So the first YouTube video is one that I've kind of been sitting on for a couple weeks. This one was released way back on June 15th. So again, it's a number of weeks ago. And I tried to squeeze this into a show back when it was first released, but I just couldn't do it because there was so much other stuff going on. But back on June 15th, Madness of Planet Madness TV released a YouTube video on his Planetside 2 router base tutorial. And it really caught my eye because first, it was excellently done. And second, it explained all the different things that a new player or even an existing player who doesn't know how to create a router base or stock a router base or anything like that, exactly what they need to do. There's a section on explaining ant loadouts. There's a section explaining what class loadouts he uses. Just so you know, he uses primarily a stalker infiltrator class loadout, and that's to be able to get him on points and hidden on points much easier, and be able to wait until the rest of his squad or platoon makes their way to the point before deploying the router itself. He talks about all the different stuff that he certs on his infiltrator and why. Same thing with the ant. He talks about how he certs out the ant specifically. And of course, it's personal preference on that, but I thought his explanation was good, saying stealth module is excellent on it, repair module is excellent on it, and he even put some numbers together provided by someone else on the two different mining lasers, on which one he uses and why, and also which top gun he uses and why. He also has a section on an ESF loadout, and the funny thing is this ESF loadout that he listed, I copied because it's a high-speed racer loadout with external fuel tanks so that you can use afterburner more. And this is something that I've put into my gameplay more often because it's something that he went over as a quick way to get into a fight to be able to drop a beacon, for regular gameplay. So again, not even though this is just a router base tutorial, there's other things that you're able to take away from it as well, specifically the ESF loadout. Then he goes over base location and gives some good examples of where he places a base and why he places them where he does. I learned a lot from that section. He also talks about building a base and the four main things that you need to build for a router base and why you only need four things. And then he has a section on how he delivers the router and how he sets up the router and what he does after he sets up the router. And all in all, it's an excellently done video. And it, like I said, I just went through everything that's included in it, and they're good points. They're succinct points. They're straight to the point points, as funny as that sounds. I knew a lot of the stuff in this from building my own router bases, but it was still good, and I think this would be something important for a new player or even a veteran player who's really interested in how to, getting more into the router game to support their outfit, platoon, squad, whatever play you're doing in the game itself. And there was some, like I said, there was some really good stuff in this, and I highly recommend everybody go and watch this video. I will include a link to it in this week's show notes. And again, I highly recommend that you go check it out. And I look forward to future tutorials from Madness of Planet Madness TV. With that, let's move on to our fourth and final topic, and let's talk about another YouTube tutorial. So the last topic this week is a YouTube video put together by Lilton Head. And it's a short video. It's less than 5 minutes. But what it explains is all the current currencies and resources within Planetside 2 right now. And at this point, we're talking about 11 different currencies in Planetside 2. And I know you're probably saying to yourself, there's really 11 currencies in Planetside 2. I remember when it was just certs and nanites way back in the day. But right now, yeah, we're up to 7. Well, certs and nanites and Daybreak Cash has always been there, but we're up to 11 of them now. So you've got certs, you've got nanites, you've got ISO 4, you've got A7, you've got Merit, you've got Daybreak Cash, you've got Araxium, Cynthium, and Polystellarite for crafting outfit resources. You've got Cordium, and you've got ASP tokens and ASP points themselves. And this video is more for a new player to Planetside 2. And if there are any newer listeners or new players listening to the show, this is an excellent video, again, short video that goes over all the different resources, all the different currencies within the game themselves, how you obtain all the different currencies, where you can spend them, and what you can spend them on within the game itself. Very excellently done. And an important topic, I think, especially for new players to the game, because some of this stuff is really like, crap. You can only think when you're a new player starting a game, an existing game that's been out for a long time, and you dropped in and there's all these different resources within the game itself, and you have no idea what the hell's going on. I'll take an example of this. My brother said I should install a new mobile game. I'm like, I don't have any mobile games that I play on my phone. He's like, you should install this new mobile game, and it's called Epic 7. And I'm like, okay, I'll check out this Epic 7 game and see what the heck it's all about. And when I first logged into it, it started throwing all these various currencies at me, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is going on here. So if that's my experience playing a mobile game, then the same experience that somebody could have playing Planetside 2 can definitely apply. So again, Lilton Head put this together. I thought it was an excellent video that he put out. A lot of information, quick video, especially dedicated towards new players on where to get all the information on all the different currencies and resources in the game. So I wanted to do a shout out to him for that and kind of push this out to some more people so that they can actually take a look at this, because it's good information. But that about wraps up this week's show. So let's move on to housekeeping.
Hello, housekeeping. Hello. Fuck. Sorry, bro.
So yeah, quick show this week, not a lot going on, so unfortunately that's going to be it for this week's show. But as always, how can you get in touch with me or the show itself? Well, first you should visit my website, which is www.instantactionpodcast.com. You can also email me at instantactionshow@gmail.com. I will read and respond to your emails on the show. And you can also follow the show on Twitter at instantactpodcast. But in closing, if you enjoyed the show, please leave me a review on your podcast listening avenue of choice, whether it's iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, or anywhere else. Also, feel free to tell your friends and outfit mates about the show. But finally, thanks for listening, and keep spamming that join combat, formerly known as Instant Action button. Derringer out.